you're a woman who is tired of having to take back multiple things in the fitting room only to have them not work out, or if you hate trying to figure out what size you should even start at when you're shopping because every brand and store is different, stay tuned for today's video. Hi, my name's Loren, clothing stylist and personal shopper, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to take measurements not only on yourself but also how to measure the clothes when you're shopping. This is a game changer, saving you time, eliminating the frustration that comes around guessing what size you are, and helping you hone in on the proper styles and fit right off the bat, and it really eliminates and reduces that fitting room frustration and meltdown. You will need a flexible measuring tape for this exercise. All right, everyone. So first off, I'm going to start with measurements on myself and what I advise taking so that you have those numbers handy and can refer to them when you're shopping. So at minimum, I always take a bust, waist, hip, and inseam measurement. And I will get to the details of inseam later on in the video because that's important. If the client is petite, roughly 5'4" to 5'3" or less, or tall, so that's roughly 5'8" and taller, I will take a shoulder to wrist measurement because typically those women have problems finding sleeve lengths that are appropriate for them. And I will also take a waist to knee measurement for dress and skirt lengths because, again, because of being petite or tall, that can be a struggle. And so there are also, if you look at any styling books, a lot of other measurements you could take, but in the interest of like just time and eliminating confusion, those 4 basic ones are the ones that I rely on the most and that work out really well. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is an art and a science. Like, there are numbers involved, there is measuring, but if you're like within a certain tolerance when you're measuring the clothes, take it in and see what happens. Let's talk about measurements. So to start, you will want to measure your bust. And so keep in mind, ladies, this is not to fit you for a bra. This is to measure you to fit your shirt. So you're not doing anything else except taking it across your bust at like the fullest part. You're also not going to be doing this. Don't squeeze it. This is for clothes fitting. This is not for like a corset fitting. So we want it to be like a natural, no pulling of the measuring tape. And so you'll be able to do that. Natural waist is roughly where you would put your hands on your waist. Typically it's in line with your belly button. It is not the low-waisted where the jeans hit, you know, when we had those kind of low-rise pants. That's not it. It's your natural waist. Now, so I can still see you guys and you can see me. I will describe the hips and the inseam. So your hips are your widest part of the hip area, the upper thigh area, and it does include your butt. I had a question about this from one of my clients was asking about that. And you basically want to take what is essentially the widest part of that butt upper thigh area that forms your hips. That is what you want to target. And if you have to take the measurement a few times or write down a few numbers till you figure it out, that's totally fine. I didn't get this right the first time I did it either. So inseam is from beneath your crotch to, this is where it gets tricky, to one of 3 areas. It is the crotch to the top of your ankle. If you wear skinny style pants, they should generally hit right around the ankle or just above. It is the crotch to the top of your foot if you wear trouser style pants with flat shoes. And it is the crotch to the top of foot when you're wearing heels if you wear them. You wear different heel heights that you should have pants or trousers hemmed to go with those different heels. And so I'm going to show you on 3 different pairs of pants back here when we get to that what I mean by this, because depending on the style of pant that you wear and the height of heel that you wear, you will either need 1 inseam measurement or like 3 inseam measurements. So it helps when you see the clothing and I can explain it. It also helps if you have someone to help take these measurements for you, but you can do it on your own. So the other thing I wanted to show you is if you fall into like a special category or if you do have trouble with your sleeve lengths, is the shoulder to wrist hinge. So obviously you would do this with your arms straight, but it's basically the shoulder hinge to the wrist. So I usually measure right to around the wrist bone. And then waist to top of knee for your skirts. So natural waist to top of knee. and that will help you when you're finding skirts or dresses so that they're not too short or too long. So let me show you the clothes. And I'm going to start with skirts, so we'll start with bottoms. If you are wearing a pencil style skirt, and actually, hang on guys, let me adjust this just a little bit so you can see it. Okay. So pencil style skirt is very fitted through the waist and the hips. So when I shop by measurement for these types of skirts, I measure the waist and the hips. And so what you're going to do, you're going to have your measurements written down after you've taken them. You will come up to the item and you will measure across like this. And so then you're going to multiply that number times 2 and compare it to your waist measurement. So this is and I didn't even write down my waist measurement, but this is roughly 15.5 inches. And so if my waist needs to be around 30 inches or so to be able to put this on, and if my waist is like really small, this would be too big for me. And if my waist was let's say my waist was like 18 inches, that would be my waist was 36 inches, this would not even go on. So the other measurement to take is for the hips. And so you're going to measure across like this. So basically find a part of the skirt and measure across. Not the waist, not the bottom, but roughly somewhere close to where it would fall on you on your hips. And I'm just tilting it up so you can see what I'm doing. So I had a 15.5 waist. This is roughly 18.5 lower down on the skirt. So then you would multiply that number by 2 and compare it to your hips. If you have an A-line skirt that's like flowy, oops, here it is, this guy, I tend to not measure the hips because these skirts are meant to really flow away from the body, so it's not as necessary. So again, you would just come up to this and measure the waist across there and double that and compare it to yours. So for pants, this is where it gets not tricky, but you just have to keep track of it. These are skinny style ankle pants. They hit me just above the ankle and they're skinny. That's one inseam number. So I would have my inseam and I would measure the pant inseam starting at the crotch and measuring to the bottom hem of the pant leg. If this pant leg measured and was comparable to my crotch to ankle measurement, then I would try it on. And I will show you what else you will measure on this pant after I finish my inseam discussion. These pants are my trouser jeans that are a shorter inseam on me, and I wear them with flats. They would look like I outgrew them if I wore them with heels. They're too short to wear with heels. So they have a wide leg trouser, so this is wider leg. This style pant should skim the top of your foot at the right length. So I know that when I wear these, I only wear them with flats for the proper length. Let me clean this up here for a second. Okay. These are another pair of trouser jeans, different than the other ones, the wider leg, but they are a longer inseam on me. So I wear these with my heels. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning, having pants to accommodate the various heights of heel that you wear, making sure that you have various pants in your wardrobe to accommodate that. So like I like trouser jeans, so I have 2 different pairs. The skinny black pants go with everything, whether it's heels or flats, because they always hit at the ankle. So thinking about what pants do you like to wear? If you love black pants and you wear flats, mid-height heels, and higher height heels, you should literally have 3 pairs of black pants for all different heel heights, especially and only if they're full leg trousers. Ankle pants, again, they're skinny, they taper to the ankle. So let's say you're at the store, this is how the pants are hung up. So the first thing I do when I'm shopping is I pull them out like this so I can measure them fully extended in the waist. And then I typically kind of pull them taut a little bit so I can measure them. So I first start with the waist and measure across. Let me move my arm down, sorry guys. I then measure the hips. Again, this is where the art comes in. This is not the science part. Just try to figure out the widest part of the pant. It gets easier the more you do this, trust me, and it gets a lot faster. So you'll measure the hip, and then what you will do is you will measure from the, I'll hold it up so you can see, the crotch of the pant all the way down to the hem. So when you're measuring on yourself, and you have different shoe heights, and you wear trouser pants, make sure you have multiple inseam measurements. That's really important because, again, the wide leg trouser should always skim the top of the foot, and if you're wearing a heel, that is a different length pant leg than if you're wearing a flat. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about this. So again, you're going to measure waist, hips, and inseam. You will double the waist to compare it to your own. You will double the hip measurement to compare it to your own. But the inseam is a straight number. You don't double that. It's just the inseam. Let's get to some things that are easier. So for shirts, it's all accumulating here. There we go. For shirts, it's super easy. You're just going to measure and compare it to your bust measurement. It helps if the shirt is buttoned. So I just measure under the arms. Just under the arms and across. There you go. So you can see. And then you just double that and compare it to your own bust. Now, at the beginning I said this is, a tolerance. So again, I think it measured 18 or so inches across. That would be doubled around 36 inches. So anywhere from like 35 to 37 inches in the bust is probably going to work for this shirt. So again, don't think it has to be so precise, like, oh, I measured my bust and I'm 36.5, but this is only going to be 36. I better not take it in. No. Give yourself some room for error there. It's just, if this had measured like 25 inches across and I'm a 36.5 inch, this thing's going to be way too big for me. So then it just stays on the rack. Next up are dresses. This is a pencil skirt style. Well, it's a sheath dress, so it's fitted. So that means it has more of that pencil skirt for the lower part of the garment. So I'll show you that. So for dresses, you're going to measure again under the arms like that for the bust and double it. Or approximate the waist and measure that. Hold it up so you can see. So that's like the waist. And then again, for the hips, you're going to try to find the widest part and measure across. In particular, if it's this style, this fitted sheath style dress, that type of thing, a flowier A-line style, you might not have to measure the hips, right? So that's pretty simple. You'll double each of those. So double the bust compared to you, double the waist compared to you, and double the hips. Lastly are jackets. So there's only really one measurement to take. The other thing to keep in mind with a jacket, just so you all know, is your jacket, sorry, I wanted to get it buttoned. Your jacket should be able to button when you try it on. If you can't button it without it like really pulling or gaping or being kind of awkward, then it doesn't fit you. Even if you never plan on wearing it buttoned, you should be able to button it and have it lay smooth against the body. That's the sign of a proper fit. So you can button them to measure. You will measure under the arms. Again, I'm just tilting so you guys can see. And then you can measure the sleeve. So just like that. If you have, like I said, if you find that sleeves are too long or too short for you, you will take that underarm measurement for the chest and double that to compare to your bust. And the sleeve length is just the straight number. So again, I have found that I will save a lot of time shopping. This is how I shop for my clients. I write down their measurements. I take a little card with me that I keep, and that way I have the numbers to refer to. Bust out the tape. You're going to need one of these, and just measure the clothes. And over time, you will get better at this. You will save so much time, and you will stop caring about the numbers. One final note is this. If you know generally your size, so I am anywhere from a 4 to a 6 to an 8, or literally from a small to an extra large, depending on the brand. Let's go with the numbers. If you know where you're starting, start in that area of the store. So just know where to start. It will make it easier. That being said, when you shop consignment, I have found that like sometimes I will find a size 14 in the size 6s, or I will find like a size 2 in the extra larges. So it does help to kind of be persistent and look, because truly you might just find this thing exactly what you're looking for that's totally in the wrong size at the store. So there's always that, the treasure hunt aspect. But it does help to kind of have an idea is what I'm getting at. So know whether you're, okay, I generally wear smalls, I generally wear mediums. And then as you get comfortable with this, you will just, your skills will be so much better. You'll start to like really understand kind of the style of the clothes and whether like they're forgiving or not. Like a pencil skirt's not particularly forgiving, right? So it helps to kind of get the measurements right. Whereas like a flowy dress, you know, a maxi dress, it might be a little more flexible as to like how close those measurements are. So you will totally get experience and practice in this. I know you will. So let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you. I hope this has been helpful. And I will see you next time. Take care.